Hi guys, today I found a new post from a username throw_RA_4627. It says, how should I start saving money so that I can move out? Basically, it says that I am 20-year-old and have a part-time job where I get paid around $15 an hour. I am also a full-time student that is expected to graduate by 2025. Right now, I want to move out as staying with my controlling parents not only ruin my finances as they take 90% of my income for themselves, but I don't see any chances of me growing as a person if I don't move out around my mid-20s. At the moment, I need advice as to how I can start preparing myself for this transition and to be able to be somewhat financially stable after I move out. I am also trying to look into affordable housing if that's an option for me. You can ask questions for more details if you need. Edit. My parents are also a bit abusive and previously had child protective services called and involved around 4 or 5 times. I am currently creating an application for my own bank account at a separate bank from my current one. A few things. At $15 an hour, even at 40 hours a week, let's say you're working full time, there's roughly about $2,600 per month before taxes and benefits gets taken out. I'm guessing your take home will be about less than $2,000 per month. Another thing is you are 20. You're graduating in about 2 years, it sounds like. I'm not sure what you're studying, what your plans are, what your career path and education path and stuff like that is. But my advice to you, I know it's a little difficult. It sounds like your parents are very difficult when it comes to kind of working with you and having you around and this sort of things. But I'll say stay in there as long as you can, as much as you can, so you can, save up as much as you can. If you have to pay him a little bit of rent or what have you, I guess you could do that. But my advice always, financially wise, right? I don't know about psychologically and family and all that stuff, physical abuse and all that. I don't know that. But as far as finances are concerned, I think the best way to do it is that stay in there as long as you can, save up as much as you can before. Another thing is also, obviously, you have 2 years left on your school. Finish that degree, finish that if you can. And again, if it's something that you really want to pursue and passionate about, I'll say do that. And then you can start looking for a full-time job. Now, if you're just going to school just because, again, you're trying to, get away from the parents and you have no really specific major you kind of want to, focus on for your advancement of your career and stuff like that. And if it is not required of you to have a degree, then obviously there's really no reason for you to kind of keep going to school just to get a degree, because obviously there are more and more schools nowadays that doesn't require you to get a degree. So there's something else to talk about or think about is that your career path and what is your actually ideal job really require of you and what you're wanting to do, right? And from there, again, even if that's the case, even if you finished the school and you found a career or you started a full-time job or what have you, I still would recommend staying at home as long as you can, only because that actually allows you to save. Even though it sounds like you don't really like it, it allows you to save as much money as possible. That will be the optimal scenario. Now, for example, like if you just did it, let's say if you're able to save, let's say $2,000 per month, because now you got a full-time job and you're living from home and you have pretty much no expenses whatsoever. And if you're able to save $2,000 per month, let's say, or if you were to move out today, you have to pay for a little bit of rent, you have to pay for utilities, all the other stuff, and it's gonna be somewhere. Even if you found a really cheap place where you're spending, say, $1,000 per month, you're probably gonna be, spending closer to probably $2,000 just because room, utilities, and all the extra that's gonna go into it. Because when you move out, you have to get everything your own, like bed, the toiletry stuff, like the soap, toothbrush, whatever it may be. You got to get all of that, towels and all of that. Now you got to start doing your own laundry and all of this extra costs involved, other than just paying the rent and covering the rent. Because you got to be able to obviously take shower and have all of that amenities, utilities, and all of that. So, I think it'd be very easy to spend about 2 grand, just because, that's what it takes to kind of quote unquote live, right? Like on your own, be independent. And so if that's the case, if you can save that, let's say $2,000 per month as long as you can, and let's say if you were able to do that just for 4 years, I know that's a long time, but that's like $100,000. $2,000 per month times 48 months. Let's say 50 months, that's $100,000. If you did it for 2 years, that's what, $50,000 almost. So definitely stay in it as long as you can. Try to save as much as you can. Also force yourself and pay yourself that money, so you're just getting used to actually spending that money, right? So like you have a way to, so even after you move out, you already have that budget set aside where like at least that money's gonna go towards the rent, utilities, and whatever extra, and you still have extra money for you to kind of stay, afloat or make a living and stuff like that. So, you gotta, as long as cause right now, since you're living with them, you have a very low overhead. You should be able to kind of do that, and again, kind of pay yourself back to see how much are you comfortable paying, at least for, again, a couple months if you can, but as long as you can, a couple of years if you can, just so you can kind of see ups and downs, and see that, what else could be anticipated. Like, for example, like if, once a year if you have to pay, or twice a year if you have to pay like your own auto insurance, or if you have to pay, something to get a maintenance done on your car, or, if you have to, whatever, pay for something, the tax season. There are some seasons, the months and the weeks in a year where you spend a little bit more than the other, right? So you can kind of see the ups and downs of the actual historical numbers, so you can have it for yourself, so you can be, prepare for that and save up as much as you can. So my advice is always is that. The second thing is, the reason I think you should finish school, or even if you don't finish school, like you want to actually start a full-time job, is that, again, I don't know how many hours you were working, but $15 an hour at a part-time, if it's, let's say, 20 hours a week, that's, what is that? $1,300 per month before taxes gets taken out, right? So like that means, $900 per month after taxes and benefits is less than $1,000. Again, after you pay for the rent, even if you room with somebody, I just don't know how much of that you would have left to kind of cover yourself for the food and all the other stuff that you may have to do, whether it's paying for the car or something. What if something happens to the car? What if something happens to your health? What if you have to get something just because, whether it's Amazon or whatever it is, or you have to, again, there could be many different things that could go wrong, or just that you have to like spend money on, and you just, don't have that margin, right? So you want to save that up as much as you can, but more importantly, have a higher income, so you can actually start afford to actually be independent on your own. But right now it seems like because you're in the middle of the schooling, middle of education, that it's going to be a little bit difficult just because of that. So either focus on finishing that as fast as you can and getting the career, that higher income job as fast as you can, or if you decide that's not it, if you don't have to have it, and if you're whatever, then you can stop the whole thing. And starting today, if you say, hey, I gotta move out today, I gotta move out as fast as I can, then again, your job should be stop the school, find a job, again, that pays you as much as you can find. Maybe working second job, third job, fourth job, in order to have a multiple income. But in a week, 2 weeks, in a month, that you're bringing in more than $900, $1,000 per month, just so you can actually save up as much as you can. So even if eventually when you do move out, that you can actually have an income to at some point be in a better position than where you're in now, so you can kind of navigate through the entire thing. So hope that helps. Hopefully that you can kind of focus on increasing the income first before you thinking about it, increasing your expenses. And last but not least, the one thing that you kind of mentioned is that you feel like you have to move out around my mid-20s as a grown up. That's actually not true. You could be in your 30s and your 40s. sometimes situations does not allow you to move out. You don't have to move out in order to become like a grown up. Like you can still live with your parents, and maybe you're the one that's supporting your parents, right? Not the other way around. Like maybe your parents are in a position where they just can't stay stable, or they can't have a stable life without, for a reason or another, right? And they may need you, which is not your what have you. But sometimes you kind of have to take care of your parents in a way where you kind of have to live with them, right? So I don't think you moving out is unnecessary. It's just that I think you have to have a just different mindset of, again, where you live. I don't think it makes any difference whether you live with your parents or your family or friends or what have you. But if you want to be really independent, if you really want to be an quote unquote an adult, I think, financially speaking, I don't know about anything else, but financially speaking, is that I think as long as you are able to kind of live with the means of your own resources, I think, and just being independent is enough for you to be an adult. When you can take a responsibility for yourself and be, again, independent. So again, you could live with them, but if you're the one that's actually providing the support financially, mentally and psychologically and stuff like that, and if you're becoming the head of the household, why not? Again, it sounds like that's not the case here, but I just don't want you to think that, hey, because you're already in your mid-20s and you're not able to move out. That's not the case at all. There are plenty of people who moved out a little prematurely. They're coming back in. And imagine how difficult that would be. And you're already in your 30s or your 40s and you just didn't plan it enough, or it wasn't set up already enough, or even if it was all good, just the market changes, the things changes, circumstance changes, where you do have to move back in. That will be more difficult. So I would definitely say try to prepare yourself, put yourself in as better at a most advantageous place as possible by, one, finding another job that actually increases your income first. Focus on that, and then try to save as much as you can on that money, so you have a big fortress or big cushion that allows you to move out, even having an extraordinary amount of expenses. Not like that, but even with having a lot of expenses, you still can afford to move out and be on your own. So hope that helps. Any comments, concerns, that will be appreciated. Please consider subscribing and sharing this video. Thank you.